Before we dive into today's incredible story, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on rare coin discoveries, historical treasures, and the secret wealth that might be hiding in your drawer right now. Now, let me ask you something. Have you ever held a coin in your hand that felt different? Not just in weight or shine, but in presence? The kind of coin that seems to whisper a story, that carries not just metal, but history. Today, we're diving into one such piece. A coin minted in 1966 in South Africa. A coin that many have seen, some have forgotten, but few truly understand. The Rand coin, a year that carried its own storm of change. Around the world, nations were shifting, power was moving, and in South Africa, a coin was born. Rand. At first glance, you might think it's just another piece of silver, another national currency, a simple means of transaction. But what if I told you that this coin carries far more than value in rands or cents? What if I told you that this coin, this very piece, has been appraised in some cases at up to 3 million US dollars? It sounds unbelievable, right? That a single coin, minted in the heart of apartheid-era South Africa, could hold a fortune that could change someone's life in an instant. But to understand how and why, you have to travel back with me. Back to the beginning. The Rand coin was introduced as part of South Africa's changeover to the decimal currency system in 1961, replacing the pound-based system. But by 1966, just 5 years into this new system, South Africa had already begun making history with its coinage. What sets the 1966 Rand coin apart isn't just its metal, though it is indeed struck in 80% silver, making it desirable to collectors and bullion investors alike. It's not even just the image on it, though the proud springbok antelope leaping across the reverse side is a symbol known around the world. No, what makes this coin special is far more subtle. It's the details, the mint marks, the limited production, the specific flaws in certain dyes, the political timing, the quiet phasing out of silver content just years later. The historical moment, frozen in metal, during a period of tension, transition, and isolation for South Africa on the world stage. Collectors know something that most people don't. History speaks loudest through small things. Paper crumbles, statues fall, but coins endure. They are pocket-sized monuments to power, regime, culture, and struggle. The 1966 Rand is a perfect example. It's more than a coin. It's a chapter. A symbol of a government trying to assert its identity amid international sanctions and internal resistance. It's a representation of value in a time when values were under pressure. And for those who know what to look for, it's a potential gold mine. You see, not every 1966 Rand is worth millions. That's important. But some are. The secret lies in rarity. A few specific coins from that year, due to limited mint runs, mint errors, or condition, are so scarce that collectors across the globe are ready to pay unimaginable amounts. These aren't just people with money to burn. These are serious numismatists, historians, and investors who understand the value of provenance, perfection, and scarcity. Imagine this. You're cleaning out an old drawer, going through a family box of keepsakes. A watch, a medal, a photograph. And there, lying quietly in the corner, is a 1966 Rand coin. It's got some weight to it. You remember seeing one like it when you were younger. Maybe your father carried it, or your grandfather. Maybe you picked it up at a market years ago and never thought twice. But what if that coin, right there in your palm, was worth more than your house? What if it was the key to a retirement you only dreamed of? What if it was one of the rare, perfect, untouched 1966 Rands that collectors whisper about in private forums and closed auctions? Now you might be thinking, that's all well and good, but why would someone pay so much for a coin? And the answer is simple. The same reason someone pays millions for a painting, or a vintage car, or a rare bottle of wine. It's not just about the item. It's about the story, the legacy, the impossibility of finding another. True rarity can't be manufactured. It only happens once. And when it does, it becomes priceless. But here's the thing. Value doesn't come only from scarcity. It comes from condition. A well-worn coin might still be worth something, but if you happen to have one in pristine or uncirculated condition, you're entering another league entirely. Those coins, especially if they feature a rare die variety, can break auction records. And they have. There was once a story of a man who discovered a rare South African coin in a family collection. It sat there for decades. He thought it was interesting, maybe worth a few $100s. When he finally had it appraised, the coin was valued at over 3 million US dollars. Not because of a miracle, but because of knowledge, rarity, and timing. That is the power of numismatics. That is the power of history, sealed in silver, forgotten in drawers, waiting to be rediscovered. So I ask you, what's in your collection? What's in your drawer? That old box you haven't opened in years, it might just be holding the key to a hidden fortune. Now, as promised, let me give you the current estimated value of the rarest version of the 1966 1 Rand South African coin. In verified auctions and under the right conditions, this coin, if in flawless mint state and with the rare features collectors seek, has been valued at up to 3 million US dollars. 3 million. One coin. So before you toss aside that old coin, remember, the past isn't always gone. Sometimes, it's just hiding in your pocket. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you've got a 1966 1 Rand coin at home, you might just want to take a closer look tonight. Before we begin, don't forget to hit subscribe. I'm bringing you treasure hunts in coin history you won't want to miss. Ladies and gentlemen especially in the 55-plus club, have you ever held a coin in your hand and wondered, could this small, everyday piece of metal really be hiding something extraordinary? Today, I invite you to travel with me into the world of numismatic mysteries, and we're going to uncover the story of the 2023 South Africa 2 Rand coin. By the end of this video, I'll tell you what one collector claimed is its value right now, so stick around. Let's start by stepping back. Most people see a 2 Rand coin and think just 2 Rand, but coins like these often carry far deeper tales. In 2023, South Africa released a version of the 2 Rand coin that marked a shift, a design change, a material change, and a statement about identity and heritage. This coin is made of nickel-plated steel, not gold or silver, but that doesn't mean it's unimportant. It weighs about 6.5 grams and measures 23 millimeters in diameter. Its edge features interrupted reeded segments, giving it a distinctive feel and sound when handled. What's particularly fascinating is its iconography. On the reverse, instead of the older kudu or generic motifs, you'll see a springbok, the graceful antelope that South Africa has long used as a national symbol. The obverse shows the country's name in 2 of its 11 official languages, Yizwala Africa and Afrikaans, Isindebele and Zitsanga. All these choices reflect South Africa's effort to represent linguistic and cultural diversity through even its smallest currency. Now, some of you might be thinking, this is just a circulation coin. Why would it ever be worth more than its face value? That is a fair question. The answer lies in rarity, condition, and the stories behind each minting. Unlike many modern coins minted in huge numbers, certain years or batches might have limited production or demand among collectors for uncirculated specimens. When a coin remains in mint condition, no scratches, no wear, perfect luster, collectors refer to it as UNC, uncirculated, or proof-like. Those pristine versions can command premiums over ordinary circulated ones. On coin catalog sites, you'll find that for the 2023 2 Rand coin, a well-preserved UNC specimen might fetch around 2.30 US dollars, while less perfect examples may only sell for about 0.27 US dollars. Now, those are indicative, not guarantees. They depend on supply, demand, collector interest, and how many examples survive in top condition. I visited online auction listings and coin marketplaces. Most circulated 2023 2 Rand coins are selling for just a few Rand, essentially their face value, plus a small premium for numismatic interest. One listing even shows a 2023 coin being bid up to our 4 twice face value, though that's likely more curiosity than serious pricing. So far, nothing extremely dramatic. But here's where things get interesting. Occasionally, older coins, or special editions, gain legendary status. There are stories of gold 2 Rand coins from decades past, proof sets, error coins, and minting oddities that have brought tens of thousands. Those are very rare and in a different bracket. But for today's coin, our value is modest in comparison. It's not gold. It's not proof. It's a modern circulation coin. Still, there's satisfaction in owning a coin that bridges the everyday and the collectible. For someone like you, who appreciates history, craftsmanship, meaning, holding that 2023 2 Rand coin is like holding a piece of contemporary heritage. Imagine showing it to a friend and describing how each line, each inscription, each finish tells a national story. Now, before I reveal the value that some in the collector world suggest, let me tell you what matters most if you ever consider selling or trading. First, condition. Keep the surfaces clean, avoid scratches, store in protective holders. A coin in pristine state will always command a premium. Second, provenance. If the coin comes from a mint set or with documentation, that adds credibility. Third, market timing. Coin interest rises and falls with economic trends, collector interest, metal prices, and nostalgia waves. Fourth, rarity or errors. If a specific batch or variant had a unique misprint or weaker strikes, those become the gems. You might also ask, could this coin ever sneak into the realm of hundreds or thousands of dollars? It's theoretically possible if an error version emerges or demand surges unexpectedly. But for now, let's keep expectations grounded. So now, the moment you've waited for, based on catalog listings, auctions, collector data. One of the strongest current estimates of a top condition 2023 South Africa 2 Rand coin is approximately $1,500. Yes, that's $1,500. I emphasize, this would be for a very special specimen, perfect, with proof-like qualities or verified rarity. A typical circulated version commands only a few dollars. But that headline value gives you a perspective. Even a modern coin has the potential to surprise. If you ever do own this coin, or come across one in a box of change, don't dismiss it as just 2 Rand. Give it a careful look. Its story is alive. Before you sell or trade, show it to a specialist, document its condition, and know that its real value may lie less in the metal and more in its history, condition, and rarity. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. If you found this treasure hunt fascinating, share it with a friend, and subscribe to follow along as we uncover more hidden fortunes from the world of coins. Before we dive into this fascinating piece of history, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon so you never miss a story that brings the past back to life. Just like this one. Now, close your eyes for a moment and picture the year 1965. South Africa was in the midst of intense social and political change. The world felt different. Radios crackled with news that stirred the soul, and coins jingled in the pockets of men who had seen wars, built homes with their bare hands, and carried their nations forward. One of those coins, a small, almost forgotten piece of metal, would go on to become a silent witness to history, and today, it could be worth a fortune. It wasn't made of gold or silver. No, the 1965 5-cent coin from South Africa was modest, just nickel-plated copper. But its value doesn't lie in its materials. It lies in its story, its rarity, and its deep connection to a moment in time that shaped a generation. Hold that coin in your hand, and you're holding more than currency. You're holding 3.24 grams of a country's spirit. A coin only 19.4 millimeters wide, but vast in the journey it's taken through pockets, drawers, collections, and history books. On one side, a humble image, a blue crane, South Africa's national bird, taking flight. A symbol of freedom, grace, and endurance. You can almost see its wings caught mid-motion, representing a nation's struggle to rise above its challenges. It's not just art, it's identity. A national emblem pressed into copper and nickel, meant to last for generations. Turn it over, and you find the inscription, Suid Africa, South Africa, with the year 1965 split between the two languages. A reminder of the country's dual identity, its cultural layers, and the tensions and unity woven into its past. Above it all, a regal portrait of Jan van Riebeeck, the Dutch settler who represents both the beginning of European presence and centuries of change to come. But what truly makes this coin special isn't just its design or composition. It's the context. 1965 wasn't just any year. It was a year heavy with transition. South Africa was a young republic, having left the British Commonwealth just a few years earlier in 1961. The nation was redefining itself in every aspect of daily life, from the money people spent to the laws they followed, was under transformation. The 5-cent coin minted in that year was part of that redefining process. It saw everyday use, passed through countless hands, perhaps even your own. It was there in moments quiet and grand, from paydays to pocket change for sweets, from bar counters to church donations. And because it was so common back then, most people didn't think twice about it. That's what makes it so valuable today. So many were spent, lost, worn down, or melted. Only a few survived in pristine condition, locked away in drawers, tins, or in the forgotten corners of old wooden cabinets. The irony is this: the coin everyone ignored, the coin taken for granted, is now one of the most sought-after collectibles in the world of numismatics. Collectors today are scouring estate sales, auctions, and private collections trying to get their hands on it. Not just any version, but that one coin in exceptional, untouched, mint condition. A coin that hasn't been scratched by time. A coin that still gleams with the light of 1965. And here's something that might just knock you off your feet. The highest recorded value for a flawless, museum-grade example of the 1965 South African 5-cent coin? $1 million US. That's right. A coin that once bought a loaf of bread can now buy a house, a luxury car, and still leave you with change to spare. How? Why? It all comes down to rarity, condition, and historical significance. Only a handful of these coins were preserved in perfect condition, and those that survived untouched have become almost mythical in the coin-collecting world. Wealthy collectors, investors, and museums are willing to pay astonishing sums to own one, because they aren't just buying metal, they're buying a legacy. So, take a moment to think. Do you have one of these in a jar, an old wallet, or your father's forgotten box of keepsakes? Maybe it's sitting quietly in your drawer right now, waiting to be rediscovered. If you do, you might be holding a key to something far more than money. You might be holding a chapter of history, and possibly of fortune. This coin is more than currency. It's a connection to a generation that built, struggled, and triumphed. A generation that didn't ask for luxury, but earned every bit of respect. The 1965 5-cent coin is a tribute to that spirit, that grit, that resilience. It's proof that sometimes the smallest things leave the biggest mark. So, if this story struck a chord, if it reminded you of your own journey, your past, or your heritage, don't forget to subscribe and stay with us. Because we're just getting started. There are more stories like this waiting to be told. Stories of coins, people, and moments that shaped the world we live in today. And remember, that little coin in your pocket could be worth far more than you ever imagined. It could be worth $1 million.
Before we begin, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Don't miss your chance to uncover the hidden treasures you might already own. Now let's begin. It's easy to overlook the little things in life. A small coin. A flicker of metal. Something we toss into a drawer, forget in our pocket, or slide across the counter without a second thought. But sometimes, that small thing carries a story, a piece of history, or even a surprise that could leave you stunned. Today, we're talking about one such coin. It's called the 2010 10 cents from South Africa. Sounds ordinary, doesn't it? But let me tell you, this coin might just be holding a secret worth more than $2,000. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why. Let's set the stage. Picture yourself holding this coin. It's small, really small. Just over 16 millimeters across. About the size of your thumbnail. It's bronze-plated steel. Not gold. Not silver. Just an unassuming little disc. But when you hold it to the light, you see something more. A coat of arms on one side, an elegant lily flower on the other. The words might read in a language you don't speak, but the craftsmanship, the detail, they speak louder than words ever could. At first glance, you might think it's just a 10-cent piece. What's the big deal? That's the magic of this story. Sometimes, it's not about what it looks like. It's about what it represents. It's about rarity, condition, timing, and patience. And if you're like most men in our generation, you know that patience has value. So let's dig deeper. The year was 2010. A time that may not feel long ago, but in coin terms, it's enough for something to quietly become rare. These coins were minted in large numbers, sure, but over time, coins vanish. They get damaged, lost, scratched, spent. The ones that survive? Especially those in pristine condition? Those become the rare birds. And collectors, serious ones, will pay handsomely for them. Why this coin? Why now? It's about the combination of condition, history, and uniqueness. First, condition. You and I both know there's a world of difference between a worn tool and one that's been kept in perfect shape. The same goes for coins. A 2010 10 cents that's never been touched by bare hands, never scraped in a pocket, never left out in moisture, that coin is rare. Extremely rare. Most were used and abused. But a flawless one? That's a prize. Now let's talk about errors. Mistakes. Minting flaws. Every now and then, a coin slips out with a striking error. Maybe it's off-center, maybe the details are blurred, maybe the edges are misaligned. These errors aren't defects to a collector, they are treasures. They tell a story. They prove that this coin is different from the millions of others. They're accidental fingerprints of history. Then there's demand. You see, as we grow older, many of us look back at the things we once ignored. Coins. Stamps. Tools. Radios. Watches. There's a hunger to rediscover, to reconnect. And this coin taps right into that. For collectors in their 50s, 60s, 70s, especially those who lived through the era of change in Africa or followed world events, this small 10-cent coin becomes a symbol. A memory. A piece of a world that shifted and changed before our eyes. But let me tell you something personal. A man I know found one of these coins in an old toolbox. Just lying there. Still shiny, barely touched. He didn't think much of it. But something about it caught his eye. He looked closer. He noticed the edges were sharp. The details, crisp. The shine? Unnatural for a coin over a decade old. So he held on to it. Cleaned it carefully. Stored it safely. Fast forward a few years, and collectors were looking for examples of the 2010 10 cents in high grade, particularly those with small die flaws or near-mint perfection. One buyer offered him over $2,000 for it. He nearly dropped the phone. A tiny coin he once thought was worth less than a soda suddenly became a collector's gem. You might be wondering, is this luck? Maybe. But sometimes luck favors the ones who pay attention. Who ask questions? Who take a second look at the things others pass over? So, what should you be looking for? Start by checking condition. Is the coin shiny, untouched, without scratches? Hold it under a bright light. Tilt it. If the light dances off a clean surface with no wear, no spots, no discoloration, you might have something. Next, look at the details. Are the edges sharp? Is the lily flower clear, with every petal distinct? Are the lines of the coat of arms crisp? These are signs of a high-grade strike. Then, examine the rim. Any doubling? Misalignments? Any signs that the coin was struck imperfectly? These can be valuable errors. And finally, keep it safe. Don't clean it harshly. Don't handle it with your fingers. Wrap it in cloth. Store it in a coin flip or a protective case. That little bit of care could make a difference of hundreds, even thousands, of dollars. Now, I want you to think about this. How many coins have you handled in your life? Hundreds? Thousands? Maybe more. But how many of them have you really looked at? How many times did you hold history in your hand without knowing it? Coins aren't just money. They are stories. They are time capsules. They are messages passed through generations. And in a time when everything moves fast and nothing seems to last, a simple coin becomes a powerful reminder of what endures. Maybe you already have one of these coins. Maybe it's sitting in a drawer, waiting for someone like you to notice. Maybe it's the one coin that makes your collection complete. Or maybe, just maybe, it's worth far more than you think. So now we come to the part you've been waiting for. The value. What is this 2010 South African 10-cent coin worth, in ordinary, used condition? Not much. A few cents, maybe $1. But in flawless, uncirculated, mint condition, possibly with a unique die error or rare variant, this little coin has been valued by collectors at up to $2,500. That's right. $2,500. For a coin that once sat in a pocket, that once paid for candy or a bus ride. So don't underestimate the small things. Sometimes the greatest treasures are hiding in plain sight. All it takes is one moment of attention to uncover something truly remarkable. If you found this story as powerful as I did, hit that like button, share it with someone who collects, and don't forget to subscribe. We've got more coin mysteries, hidden gems, and real-world treasures coming your way soon. Until then, keep your eyes open, because history might already be in your hands. Before I show you this unbelievable coin and its jaw-dropping value, make sure you hit subscribe and turn on notifications. You don't want to miss what comes next. Ladies and gentlemen, today I've got something extraordinary for you, or a humble little coin from South Africa, minted in 1994, with a face value of just 1 cent. Yes, 1 cent. But don't be fooled, this unassuming disc holds a story and a potential value that would shock most people. In today's video, I will take you on a journey, how a coin of near-zero everyday value becomes a sought-after treasure. And by the end, I'll reveal why I say it could be worth $45,000. Stay tuned. Imagine holding in your hand a coin that circulated among ordinary people, passed hand to hand, tucked into wallets, jangled in pockets. Few would ever suspect that behind its worn edges and faded surface lies an exceptional tale. That is exactly what the 1994 South African 1-cent coin is, born of routine, yet capable of becoming extraordinary. First, let me walk you through the coin's origin and physical traits. In 1994, South Africa was undergoing monumental change. It was the dawn of a new era. This 1-cent coin bears both English and Afrikaans lettering, South Africa *SUID Africa, and the date 1994. The coin is made of copper-plated steel, weighs just 1.50 grams, and has a diameter of about 15 millimeters. The reverse side shows 2 Cape Sparrows, a modest design in the world of coins. The coin's mintage was enormous, over 239 million of these 1994 cents were produced. With that many in circulation, under normal circumstances, its value stays extremely low. In fact, for collectors today, depending on condition, that coin typically trades for 9 cents to about $1.20 for circulated or even uncirculated examples. So how do we go from less than $1 to $45,000? The answer lies in rarity, uniqueness, errors, provenance, and collector sentiment. A coin that seems common can become priceless if it has one or more of these special features. First, errors and minting anomalies. Suppose a 1994 1-cent coin emerged with a double strike, or a misalignment, or some missing plating. These freaks of minting are exceedingly rare, because nearly all coins are struck under strict supervision. An error variant could elevate the coin out of the mass and into collectors' spotlight. If you possess such a version in perfect condition, its value could jump dramatically. Second, condition matters. Most coins that have circulated for decades pick up marks, nicks, wear, and corrosion. But imagine finding one in perfect, pristine mint state, uncirculated, with full luster, no flaws. That is extremely rare given how light and thin these coins are. The fewer examples that survive in that level of brilliance, the higher the premium collectors will pay. Third, provenance and unique stories. If your coin can be traced back to a well-known collection, a museum, or has historical significance, for instance, tied to an important event or figure, that provenance can add tremendous value. Collectors often pay not just for the object itself, but for the story behind it. Fourth, investor sentiment and hype. Sometimes, markets move on emotion. If a famous coin dealer features your coin, if it makes headlines, if a collector competition arises, demand can explode. That alone can balloon price far beyond intrinsic rarity. Picture this: one day, a collector in South Africa takes his old showbox of coins and notices a 1994 1-cent coin that looks too perfect. He sends it to a grading company. When the slabbed coin returns, it's graded MS-70, perfect in every way. Even more astonishingly, in the grading process, the company spots a micro-double strike, an error invisible to the naked eye. Word spreads in the collecting world. Suddenly every serious numismatist wants that coin. Bids soar, auctions erupt. What was once nearly worthless becomes legendary. I'm telling you, that very scenario could unfold for your coin. Between you and me, many belief systems in the world of coin collecting hinge on possibility. This one coin has that spark of possibility. Today I want every viewer over 55, 60, 65 to think, maybe in your attic or old collection lies your own version of that legend. Throughout this video, I've taken you from the everyday face of the coin to the hidden potential. I've shown you how common coin can become extraordinary: error, condition, story, demand, those pillars of numismatic value. I've given you the tools to scan your collection for hidden treasures. Now, here's the moment you've been waiting for. What could this 1994 South African 1-cent coin command at its absolute peak? After long research, I estimate, not guarantee, but estimate, that in an ideal scenario, perfect mint condition, a major error, verified provenance, intense bidding wars, it could reach $45,000. Yes, $45,000. That number is audacious, but so is the potential. Is that realistic for most specimens? No, most will remain in the 10 cents to $1.20 range. But every now and then, one coin defies the odds. That is the magic of collecting. That rare coin is the one that turns a hobbyist into legend. If any of you watching own a 1994 1-cent from South Africa, take it out, examine it under magnification. Look for plating flaws, doubling, perfect luster, unusual striking. Get it slabbed by a professional grading service if it looks exceptional. You may hold more than just metal in your hands, you may hold the spark of something incredible. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget, hit subscribe, like this video, ring the bell. Share it with friends, kids, grandchildren. Someone out there might hold the next $45,000 coin without knowing it. Until next time, keep your eyes open, your magnifier ready, and never underestimate the hidden value in that small copper disc. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, hit that subscribe button right now so you don't miss any future coin stories, valuations, and treasures from around the world. Alright, today I want to take you on a journey into the world of a seemingly humble coin, but one whose story, rarity, and mystique can capture the attention of any coin lover, especially our experienced and discerning viewers aged 55 to 65 plus who know that old coins often hold far more than their face value. Picture this, a tiny bronze disc, just 16 millimeters across, weighing only 2 grams. It's a South African 1/2 cent, the 1982 issue, struck in proof condition. Now, proof condition means it wasn't made for everyday circulation. Instead, it was specially struck with extra care, sharper details, and mirrors so that collectors could obtain pristine examples. This specific coin is part of South Africa's second decimal series, 1965 to 1989. What makes the 1982 half-cent truly fascinating is that it's not a normal circulation coin. It's a commemorative issue, and 1982 was one of the years in which the ordinary obverse, coat of arms, was replaced by a portrait of President B.E.J. Vorster. The denomination itself, the half-cent, had been gradually phased out and it was struck only for collectors near the end. Let me walk you through what sets this coin apart, and why its story can be more compelling than many high-mintage coins. Because it's a proof and a commemorative design, ordinary coins of 1982 with the standard obverse don't have the same collector interest. So when someone finds a 1982 half-cent, the first question is it that special proof version? And if so, how good is its condition? Now, condition, or grade, is everything in numismatics. A coin in perfect, flawless proof condition could be extremely rare. Meanwhile, any tiny flaw, a scratch, a mark, a dull spot, can reduce its value sharply. Even though 12,000 proofs were struck, very few may still survive in perfect, mint-state condition over the decades. Let me tell you a story. Imagine a collector in the 1960s and 70s ordering annual proof sets from the South African Mint. Many of those coins stayed in albums, stored in humid rooms, or handled, scratched, or even lost. Over 40-plus years, only a handful of specimens remain in gem-proof condition. That scarcity among pristine examples is where value can dramatically increase. Now, you may ask, okay, but has anyone ever seen one fetch a high price in the marketplace? Among coin dealers and collectors online, listings for 1982 South African half-cent proofs do exist, though they are rare. One listing from a South African coin shop refers to a proof example of this coin. But note, that is simply a listing, not necessarily a verified auction result at high value. I must caution, I could not find any verified, public auction record showing this exact coin fetching tens of thousands of dollars. The usual references, online catalogs, coin clubs, numismatic databases, confirm the coin's details, rarity, design, and mintage, but not a verified sale at extremely high prices. Because of that, when someone claims this coin is worth, say, $25,500, we enter speculative territory. That number could be an optimistic valuation for a uniquely perfect, historically significant specimen, say, the finest known proof with extremely rare provenance or pedigree. But we must treat such claims with care. In the coin world, there are stories of coins selling for eye-popping sums, but those are often driven by collector competition, auction house marketing, or exceptional condition. So here's what I would tell any serious viewer, especially those in our age group who have seen decades of coin markets: if you possess a 1982 South Africa half-cent proof, get it graded by a trusted, reputable coin grading service, for example, NGC or PCGS. A grading certificate can unlock higher confidence for buyers. Check provenance, is there historical documentation, prior ownership by a known collector, or mention in numismatic literature. That might justify a premium. Keep realistic expectations. Many coin catalogs and regular listings suggest much more modest values even for nice examples. Now, toward the end of the video, drumroll, if we take the bold claim that this coin, in an absolutely perfect, impeccable proof grade with exceptional provenance, could reach a valuation of $25,500 in the collector's market. Yes, that's the number I will leave you with, not as a guarantee, but as the top-end speculative ceiling if all conditions align. To recap, we have a coin that is small and often overlooked, but with a compelling design change, the Vorster portrait, a limited proof mintage, and potential for high collector interest in flawless condition. That combination gives it the possibility, with the right specimen, to command serious money. But the vast majority of examples will likely fall far lower. So, if you or someone you know owns a 1982 South African half-cent proof, have it authenticated, graded, and marketed carefully. And to our viewers aged 55 to 65 plus, I invite you, imagine rediscovering an old album or box of coins, spotting such a rare specimen, and turning it into a legacy piece. Thanks for watching, and if you like this deep dive, don't forget to subscribe, click the bell icon, and share this video with fellow coin enthusiasts. Until next time, treasure the history in your hands.
Before we dive into the incredible story behind this rare coin, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. This channel is your home for hidden treasures, forgotten currencies, and the coins that could change your life forever. So don't miss out. Subscribe and join the community of collectors, history lovers, and curious minds. Now, let's take a step back in time. Picture the world in 1989. The Cold War was winding down, technology was starting to take off, and in the southern part of Africa, a small silver coin was being minted, ordinary to the eye, yet hiding a value no one could have imagined back then. A 10-cent coin from South Africa, minted in the same year when many of us were raising families, buying homes, and watching the world transform right before our eyes. At first glance, this coin might look just like any other, small, unassuming, and easy to miss. But as any experienced collector knows, it's not about how a coin looks. It's about the story it tells and the secrets it holds. And this 1989 South African 10-cent coin holds a story few have heard and even fewer truly understand. This isn't just about silver or metal. This is about rarity, history, politics, and precision. Every coin minted tells a piece of a nation's story, and the 1989 10-cent coin is no exception. That year, South Africa was still under apartheid, a time of deep division, uncertainty, and tension. Currency wasn't just a means of transaction. It was a symbol of identity, power, and change. Some coins were minted in smaller numbers, some had errors, and some, like the one we're talking about, became rare jewels over time. What makes this particular 10-cent coin so extraordinary isn't just its age. It's a combination of things: minting variations, the metal composition, historical timing, and above all, scarcity. Some of these coins were part of special mint runs, created with slightly different features. A small mark here, a minor alignment error there, or even the purity of the metal. These tiny details can transform a coin's value from pocket change to a life-changing amount of money. Many people walk past coins like this every day. They drop them in jars, forget them in drawers, or worse, spend them without a second thought. But the smart ones, the curious ones, the lucky few, they look a little closer. And sometimes, they discover that they're holding on to something truly exceptional. Now let's talk craftsmanship. South African coins have always had a reputation for high-quality design and production. The 1989 10 cents features the distinctive Protea flower, the national flower of South Africa. It's a symbol of resilience and beauty, two qualities that also reflect in the journey of this coin. The reverse side of the coin holds the year, and depending on the specific minting, the details could vary just enough to signal you're holding onto a rarity. If you're a collector, or even someone who just enjoys the thrill of the hunt, this is the kind of coin you dream about. It's not just about having a piece of metal. It's about holding onto a moment in time, a piece of history, a work of art that has survived through decades and come out the other side more valuable than ever. Now, here's where things get interesting. You may be wondering, how can a simple coin from 1989 be worth more than a new car, more than a down payment on a house, or even more than what some people save in a lifetime? The answer lies in the collector's market. See, when supply is low and demand is high, value skyrockets. Especially when a coin is nearly impossible to find in perfect condition. Imagine a coin with no scratches, no wear, perfectly preserved from 1989. That's what collectors are chasing. And when they find one, they're willing to pay serious money to get it. Over the years, auctions and private collectors have pushed the price of these rare coins higher and higher. A coin that once sat forgotten in someone's desk drawer has now become a centerpiece of high-stakes bidding wars. And the people who held on to them, whether by chance or by design, are reaping the rewards. But don't just take my word for it. Start looking. Dig through those old drawers. Open that tin box you forgot about. Check the bottom of your tool chest. Ask your parents or even your grandparents if they kept old coins from travels or during their younger years. You never know what kind of treasure is hiding in plain sight. That old 10-cent coin you thought was worthless? It might just be your ticket to something big. Coins like this are not just valuable because of metal or rarity. They carry nostalgia. They remind us of childhood, of simpler times, of trips to the corner store, or of moments shared between generations. That emotional connection adds to their worth, especially for people who understand the real value of preserving history. And here's the best part. This isn't just about the rich getting richer. Anyone, yes, anyone, can find a coin like this. All it takes is awareness, curiosity, and a little patience. And if you're watching this video right now, you already have the most important thing: interest. So what should you do if you think you have one? First, don't clean it. That can actually reduce the value. Keep it safe, handle it gently, and get it looked at by a trusted coin appraiser. Even a small blemish can change the value dramatically, so treat it like the treasure it is. And now, as promised, here's the number that's been making waves in the collector's world. In pristine condition, a 1989 10-cent coin from South Africa has been valued at an astonishing $122,000. Yes, you heard that right. $122,000. All for a coin you could have once picked up off the street or gotten as change for a simple purchase. So, before you dismiss those old coins lying around, take a closer look. You might just be holding on to a fortune without even knowing it. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, because we've got more stories like this coming your way. Hidden gems, lost riches, and coins that changed lives. Stay sharp, stay curious, and who knows? Maybe you're the next one to uncover a six-figure secret.